Hey guys, Philip here again. Every once in a while we have this really wonderful, unique opportunity where in the studio we get into these like wonderful long conversations about sleeves. And so I just thought I'd share three basic sleeve styles that are common sleeves for us to do in the shop. Of course, it goes far more beyond these three basics, but I just thought I'd kind of look at three basics that we use and the differences between them. So the first one I want to talk about is what we call a roped shoulder. In a roped shoulder, you will notice a very sort of fine definition, a sort of almost like rope-like effect across the top of, or as we call it in the very crown of the sleeve, a slight sort of lifting there. This is wonderful in more structured pieces and pieces that you want to build out a stronger shoulder on, and in pieces that you want to have a bit more of a formality to them. We also have what we call in the shop here a flat shoulder, where there is no lift or roping in the top of the sleeve, but rather you get this kind of like straight fall off the shoulder. It's kind of like very flat at the top or crown of the sleeve, as opposed to having that lift. And then we also have what we call a Nepalese or an Italian style, or a Spalla Camicia style of jacket sleeve, where there's kind of defined by this kind of small amount of almost puckering that you get up in the very sort of crown in the sleeve that you're looking for there. So I'm just going to kind of dissect these three different sleeves a little bit as well. In a roped sleeve, I'm going to come into the inside here. This type of sleeve is shaped by a lot of easing or gathering up of the top of the sleeve, often something that's actually only possible in certain types of material that allow for this. And then we come to the inside of the sleeve, the inside of the jacket. Of course, we have the shoulder pads here. My gosh, there's so much stuff that goes onto the inside. You see sleeve heads here. But what I really want to show here is that in the very top or crown of the sleeve, what we have is all of the material is pushing into the sleeve, into the crown of the sleeve, into or away from the body, in addition to that sleeve head, and pushing all of those materials in addition to the easing and the sleeve head is what gives that slight little roundness or lift on the top or the crown of the sleeve. So, particular amount of effort into the construction for that kind of piece. In the jacket that is got a flat shoulder here, bear with me, this one is kind of mid-construction, and my gosh, some of the shop might kill me for this. You're all gonna see it. To really get in here and see, I kind of have to release a little bit. But you'll see at the moment here, it looks similar to start by opening it up in the middle here. But what you'll notice when I start to open it up here is there's only one layer of fabric as opposed to two layers of fabric. And that's because what's happened is the seams have been trimmed between the crown here, and the seam has been pressed open. So the very open or top part of the crown, some of the seam allowance of the sleeve is pushed in the sleeve, some of it's pushed back into the jacket. Let's open this up. Takuma, don't kill me. Patrick, don't kill me. Forgive me. Please forgive me. Can open this up for everybody. You can have a proper peek. It's been really well tacked. Very nice. Oh, the canvas has been stitched in too. So there we go. Here you go. There you can start to see it as we're coming around the back of the shoulder, where the seam's actually been clipped and pressed open instead of having all of the seam allowance pressing into the sleeve. And here we've got the canvas trimmed back from the armhole, that part too. But that's sort of defined by that opening of the seam as opposed to pushing all of it into the crown of the sleeve. And the Nepalese style, or the Italian style, or as people have started to call it, Spalla Camicia, which actually just means shirt sleeve, is constructed very much in the way that a shirt sleeve is constructed, in that all of the material, the seam allowance from the sleeve, the seam allowance from the jacket, everything has been pushed back into the jacket. Nothing is pushing into the sleeve. And that's why you get there's easing that happens in the sleeve, and because nothing has been put into the crown of the sleeve to fill out that easing that needs to be done to go over the deltoid and over the top part of your shoulder, you get that sort of slight puckering effect, right? And we call that a shirt sleeve because in the construction of shirts, where there is no canvas and there's no shoulder pads, all of that seam allowance from the sleeve and from the body gets pushed back into the crown of the sleeve so that we can have a nice clean finish in that area where there's not otherwise lining and other construction. So this sleeve on that sort of very unstructured summary style of jacket comes from the construction of a shirt sleeve. Almost very much this early feeling of a shirt jacket, if you will. More commonly earlier done with linens and cotton fabrics, and today now also you see being done with wool fabrics as well. Anyway, hope that helps you. You have a roped sleeve, you have a flat sleeve, and you have Spalla Camicia.